Keith Alleman asks an interesting question. Do you fear happiness? I used to. I don't think I do anymore, but I used to. I used to fear success an awful lot too. It's a hard thing to come to grips with. I think probably the greatest way to describe this phenomenon for me is as a writer, because if you have an idea that you really like and you just sort of roll it around in your head 100 times and you just really, this is awesome, and you know you're just loving it, you're loving everything about it, and it's really clicking and everything's great, and you got it up here and it's perfect, it's pristine, and then when you have to actually write it and put it on paper, sometimes you get pleasant surprises. Oftentimes you get things that are better than you thought, but somehow usually it's just tough to get it nailed, because everything's perfect until it has to come into the world. This is why socialism fails. And even socialism doesn't work theoretically. I used to say it worked great in theory, it's terrible in practice. Somebody said, no, it's terrible in theory too. I said, boy, you're absolutely right. What's the matter with me? But you get the idea. The problem with the fear of success thing and the fear of happiness thing is you can fail, right? You can try and you can fail. And if you don't try, you haven't failed. And that is seductive. I'm looking for something here. Let me just see if I have it. Maybe I had it at home. It's not here. Let me look again here. 1 second. I bet it's... Yeah, it's at home. Anyway, it was one of these things. Probably saw it on the Chive, and it was basically something to the effect of came in last, beats didn't finish, which trumps never started. And I thought, that's it, man. That's really it. Came in last is better than didn't finish, and didn't finish is 100,000 times better than never started, never tried. So I think really the fear of success, fear of happiness is founded ultimately by a fear of failure. And there's a lot of people out there, and I'm probably one of them, who who on some level when they were young or through most of their lives or whatever, you have to build this. And it's never built as well as it's built if you have really solid parents who really there for you and lay this foundation when you're very, very young. But a lot of people in show business are pursuing something that they're missing. And it's usually something that happened to them in childhood. It's some kind of stability, or it's some kind of a attention or affection, these kind of things. And it takes a rare person to build that back out of the need for it, and then just make it kind of a byproduct rather than this kind of this compelling need. But certainly many people in show business have this particular affliction, and I do too. I feel like I've made major steps to overcome it through you. I've said this 100 times before, and I never get tired of saying it. When I started writing for Eject, I was writing away from the stuff I wanted to do, which was movie stuff. I've been working on that my whole life, and just doing the stuff because I felt like I had to say it. I wasn't getting paid for it, obviously, and I didn't think anybody really read it, but they did. And the feedback and the comments I got from people like you watching this now were just elevated me. I just had to rise and become a better person. I just had to stop doing things I was doing because it's like people are depending on me. And that's a remarkable thing. I'm very grateful, and I'll owe you guys for the rest of my life. So I think to answer your question, Keith, my fear of happiness, such as it was, is well behind me. I've got a car I really like. I've got an airplane. I've got an apartment I really like. I don't need to spend a whole lot more money than I'm spending now. If I made 10 times what I was making now, I'd buy a better airplane, but my life wouldn't fundamentally change. I'm really pretty happy. And I just am very I want to say it's funny how conditioned we are, right? I just say very lucky. I was fortunate in terms of my birth, in the sense that I got parents who instilled a certain set of values in me, but the rest of it had nothing to do with luck. It was just hard work over time. It was nothing to do with luck. We talk about the rich are very fortunate and the poor are very unfortunate. Fortune and fortunate is not, the rich and the poor part is not due to fortune. The rich and the poor part is due to behaviors, and those behaviors came as a result largely of fortune, but those behaviors can be learned, And as I've said before, you can put together a pretty short class, if fit it on a cocktail napkin, of things that you have to do in order to succeed. Hard work in this society, at least in this society up until the present, hard work of any kind, and I'm talking about janitorial hard work, will be rewarded. And a person who has the education to do nothing other than be a janitor, if that person has hard work and some ambition, they will be owning a janitorial company that will be making millions, if not tens or hundreds of millions of dollars a year. It can happen to anyone. You just have to figure out what you want and how to get there. That can be learned, and it's free. So maybe we'll do a show on that. Maybe we'll do a success show. Maybe I'll do a success disc. Who knows? Anyway, that's Keith Elliman. Do I fear happiness? Not anymore. Thanks for asking.